Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So this will be the last one of all the stones that I showed in my recent live stream where I got you guys to pick them. This was number 4 and there was also a fair bit of interest in it. I wasn't going to do it, but I thought it had almost as much interest as the runner-up, so might as well do him as well. So it's a really small piece. We'll dunk it in some water so you can actually see past the frosting. Get a bit of focus. So it's pretty colourful. It's anywhere there's opal is basically colour. So it's a nice intact piece. It's got a little bit of a dip here, which is a little unfortunate. I'm not sure how deep this sand will go in, but we might end up losing that tail end. I think it might be okay, but it's still going to be pretty thin if it's okay. So it's a multicolour. You got the greens, blues and reds. Not a lot of purple or anything, not a lot of yellow, not a lot of orange. So it should still look pretty nice. And the basic gist of it's going to be to get off this little bit of rough on the outside, that little bit of sand. The other side doesn't have much at all. The directionality on this is a lot less important than when you're looking at black opal, because you're wanting the colour to sit on the black potch. This, it's very, very consistent. Coober Pedy is very consistent in general, so the directionality of it is not overly important. I think for this piece, this might end up being the top. I feel like there's a little layer here that I'll have to carve into just to get the colour bar exposed, and by the time I do that I might lose a bit. But really it's not going to matter too much at all. It's just because I'm going to be carving this away, I might as well just make that the top and just keep carving that. And this part I'll just touch up a little bit. There's a bit of a sand spot here which might go all the way through because it's the thinnest point as well. So I think in all likeliness we're just going to keep this thicker end, and by the time it starts tapering off we'll probably lose that. So we'll end up with a fairly small stone, probably one carat, maybe 1.5. Not very big at all. I think for this one I'll get a quick initial weight just because I'm interested in seeing how much is lost in this process. It's slightly wet, which I don't like. Give it a quick dry off on a towel. Drop him on. Yeah, it's already pretty small. 4. And I reckon we'll lose at least 60% of the stone by the time it's carved up. But you never know. I could be surprised. So yeah, that's the battle plan. Go at this crusty top, if it'll focus. Go at this crusty top with the diamond bit, and then we'll have a look at it again, and probably just finish it off with the novas. I'm hoping for no surprises, no deep sand spots. This is a little bit concerning. That's a little bit concerning. But all in all, we might just end up with a nice small piece here. So let's dive into it. Sometimes you just hate to be right. So the inclusion's just over here went in fairly deep, and I've basically just used the diamond bit to get right down to the colour bar. So it's just starting to show now. I haven't gone any further because the cutting marks on this are really deep. I might need to dry it off a bit. There you go, you can see it there. So those cutting marks are really severe on these diamond bits. So I pull up just short of getting right into the colour bar, so there's a thin film of potch across the top still. So at this point it's time to go to the Nova tips. The shape is a little bit weird. I'm not entirely sure what I'm actually going to do with this piece yet. It's got some nice colour, but here it gets really thin on this edge. It's still fairly thick over here, but it just slopes down really strong, and then it's only 1.5 mils, 2 mils thick there. This part here is quite thick. So there is a chance that I could just cut these off, and maybe I will do that at a later date to get a cushion cut if I think it'll match a similar cushion cut that I have done previously. Like this one here. So if I put those together, they're somewhat similar in size. If I layer it over the top. So I might be able to match it. It depends on what the pattern on this one's like. The other one, the finished cushion cut that I've got there, that one's got a lot of red, whereas this is more of a multicolour. So it's probably not a matching piece. For now, I reckon we just go at this with the Nova tips and maybe even polish it. Who knows? And just keep it as the shape it is. It's always easy to go back to it later on in life and draw some lines in and cut it into a cushion cut and have a few offcuts, because the tip here isn't that great. This is really thin. Yeah, it's kind of a... You only get one chance at cutting, so might as well pull up short if you're uncertain, and we'll just give it a nice polish to get a real good idea of the pattern. We're not even right on the colour bar yet. This is sneaking through. It should get a lot brighter. So yeah, Nova tip time. Alright, we're done. Here we have it. So it's pretty small. Just from my fingers, I feel like it would be weighing approximately 2 carats. We'll give it a quick weigh in a second. But what I did notice with it is that the shape, so I didn't do anything with the shape. I thought I might cut it into a matching pair, but it doesn't match the other piece of Coober Pedy that I've got that's a cushion cut. But what I did realise halfway through cutting is that I've seen a shape similar to this before. And that is right here. So my little fish cut from a boulder opal, from a rub parcel that I got from Nick Hoops. So now I've got this one, which I think I can just cut a little tail into over here, similar to this one, and they can be somewhat matching. And I might carve a whole heap of little fish. Could be a fun little project to work on, and then I have to get a setting for them. I might even be able to embed them in a large piece of ironstone or something, I don't know. One where I can just place them into a slot, bring them back out again, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a cool little fish. I didn't do anything with the back, so that you can still recognise as being pretty much untouched. Actually fully untouched, I don't think I touched it at all. But yeah, we've got a nice multicoloured piece here. I couldn't ask for much more from this. And in terms of beginner's rough, I mean, if you can get a piece like this, I'm sure you're over the moon with it. You're paying, I don't know, like $10 per piece of rough in one of these 1 ounce parcels. This one was from Jullian Stavreas, and so far I haven't had a ultra disappointing piece from him yet that I've carved. So yeah, for beginner grade stuff, what more can you ask for? You've got all the colours. It's a nice little pattern. The shape could be better, but we weren't really aiming for shape too much. I mean, this could easily be cut back a little bit further and turned into a pendant piece. There's no problem with that being a pendant. It's going to be very uneven because you've got the thin section and the fat section, but I'm sure there's a way of making that work for you if you were really committed to it. So yeah, all in all, really nice. Came out well. If I chuck the scales just here behind it, smack them on, I'm guessing about 2, maybe 2.2. Oh, you are kidding. Oh, it flashed 2.2 for a second there. I'm going to take that as an absolute brilliant guess. So yeah, just over 2 carats. Little fish. I'll cut a little tail into it at some point, just so that it matches up. And I'll keep an eye out for more pieces that I can turn into little fish, I reckon. So yeah, really nice, really colourful. It's got all the colours. It's even got a little bit of yellow, which I rarely see. That yellow-orange transition is really nice. So yeah, real cool. At this point, I'm waiting for the votes to finalise the next couple pieces that I'm cutting. Of course, I'm moving on to that grade 3 rough from NN Opals, or 53 Frogs on Opal auctions. And yeah, you guys have been voting frantically on that, and 1 and 4 are kind of head to head for a while, but I think 4 is edging out ahead. So I don't know, let's have a quick little preview of 1 and 4. So 1 is basically a huge high potential piece of crystal opal. Could just be a brilliant blue if it stays nice and clean. And then 4, these are both dry as well, so you're not going to see the colour all that well. 4 is this beautiful piece here. I'm thinking that there's going to be a stone come out of there. This looks like it's eaten out by sand pretty significantly. But also, as people are commenting in the preview video, there is this red-orange colour bar on the bottom here. A little bit of green as well. You can see it coming through, so it's a bit of a multicolour colour bar. But as you can see, it's very uneven. It's got some points out here that are going to have to get cut away, and that sand goes right through into that potch. It's actually got a slight flash of blue in there as well, but into that potch where I was hoping to get this facing onto. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, this one, and I think it's edging out ahead, so this is most likely the next piece you'll see cut. So yeah, stay tuned, and you'll see it appear in the next week or so. Catch up.